Okay, the October 1st, 2024 meeting of the West Haven ARPA Committee will now come to order. Will each member paid professional and city official state your name for the record? Ken Carney.
David Grudberg, Carmen Code, Sandak and Hennessy, counsel to the committee.
Dwight Knowles.
Mike Glass.
Chris Barstein.
Excellent. I'd like a motion to waive the reading of the September 3rd, 2024 regular meeting minutes.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. May I have a motion to accept the September 3rd, 2024 regular meeting minutes as written?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I'm going to give it to Mike. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Let's go to Chairman's report, general report. So we have a new individual at UHY working on the tracker for us. It's a little bit discombobulated, but basically we are closing in on procurement for the remaining funds. I met with the finance director last week for about an hour and a half, went through all the open issues. I've met with UHY, I've met with Carmody. We have a plan. I've called the various department heads to put that plan into motion, to get the final bids out. And with that, I think we'll make the deadline. And I'll go through them in more detail as I run through this list. Okay, first I have for our financial management on page 10. I have a Carmody invoice for $17,352. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next, go to page 16. Here I have Jow Films for $200. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second. Any
discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Go to page 17. Here I have Sharin's hours. Sharin, this works on ARPA projects. This is her reimbursement for May and June, $4,873.70. Do you have a motion to approve?
So moved.
We'll give that to Chris, followed by Mike. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next, on page 18, I have Sharin for July. This would be $3,086.54. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Do I have a second? Chris, any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Go to page 19. I've got Sharin again. This is August, $4,503.03. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
That's
Second.
any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next, we go to the Child Development Center roof. We are down to a very small punch list, and we owe them a final payment. Parks Fund, I've got a couple things to discuss, but I am meeting with Ernie next week to review money that's left in the Parks Fund, and then we'll make a decision, he'll make a decision on how to spend that. Let's go to page 20, and here you're gonna see a barrier gate. If you go to page 22, you can see a picture of it. And presently what happens is when there's severe flooding, which is pretty common around here, the police go out, they put up barricades. This gate will now close, and that alleviates the police having to go out and put up barricades. So the cost of this guy is $9,963. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next, I got inspection services at Veterans Field. So this goes back to the bleacher situation. We found the original manufacturer is considered a sole source provider. Before they would give us a price on fixing the bleachers, they did a structural analysis. That analysis cost $3,503. With that, we got a certificate and a plaque saying it's structurally sound. We also got an estimate of $125,000 to fix all the seat boards and feet boards, with an understanding that that could be greatly reduced if I have a conversation with them, which I plan on doing next week. So in the meantime, we want to approve this invoice to Dant Clayton for $3,503. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, that'll be Mike. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Go to page 24. Here I have Ernie's Hours. This is a reimbursement for August and September, Parks Management, and the total is $6,491.67. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
That'd be Chris. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Moving on, we go to page, Food Bank. So New Reach has issued 2 invoices. Now, I'm gonna pass this around. This is the backup for the New Reach invoices, which is almost as thick of our as our packet. So I didn't bother putting it in there. But we have 2 invoices, invoice 3 and invoice number 4. Invoice number 3 totals $2,162.06. Invoice 4 totals $2,167.96. Do you have a motion to approve 3 and 4?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We move on to stormwater management grant matching funds. According to our tracker, we have about $492,000 left in that fund. I'll be talking to the mayor and the council as to how to spend that. We have stormwater problem areas. It says $1,470,000. It's actually $1,970,000, and that has been completely secured under procurement with a contract between the city and the Public Works Department. We have until December of '26 to spend those funds. We have 1 invoice starting on page 27. This is a long-standing issue that's been resolved. If you look at the picture on page 28, this particular channel goes behind, I think 6 or 7 houses, Fenwick, Enright, and Robert Street. And it was constantly flooding people's backyards. They dug it out, they put the riprap in. You can see the picture, $51,562. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Excellent. Do I have a second?
Second.
There'll be Dwight, any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next, we go to the libraries of broadband access. I was told they got a check today, or check became available for $31,000. I have no additional invoices to present today. City Hall windows. At the publishing of this agenda, we had 8 windows to install. All 160 windows have now been installed. We are now in punch list mode, and we have 1 door to replace. With the money that we have left over in that account, we are looking at power washing the building, and we have prices coming in for that now. But I do have some invoices for this project, starting with Hoffman Architects on page 29, $5,050. On page 30, $1,010. On page 31, $720. On page 32, $180. On page 33, $3,030. On page 34, $2,020. On page 35, $180. Each of these invoices have been compared to the contracts and change orders, and they are all legit. Do you have a motion to approve those invoices?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
And if that remaining money will go towards, improving like the interior of the building, like painting or, you know?
So, I think when it comes to the window bucket of money, the additional funds would go to replacing additional doors, because that was part of the original charge from the council. Painting was not. Power washing, I think, works because you just redid all the windows and there's, crap all over the building. But I think you're gonna be looking at those sort of things.
Yeah, but that's a hard sell. I mean,
Is
for
that-
washing the building, that's a hard sell because, there's not much crap that's gonna be on the building to be washed.
There is. If you look at each window, there's a white stripe coming down on the brick from the old painted windows. So. Any other discussion? Do we approve this already? We're done there, right? Okay, so next we have page 36. Vote on that one. All in favor, say aye. Go to page 36. We have for you, $101,764. It's signed off by the architect. Do you have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Motion carries. Next, we have Prism. Prism is the company that's removing the windows. I have two invoices, starting on page 38, and again on page 41. The first invoice is for $44,685.85. The second invoice is for $79,307.61. Do you have a motion to approve those two invoices?
Motion to approve?
Do I have a second? Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next, we move on to the Allentown Fire District. Here's a picture I took this morning. Pass, no page yet. Pass that around. So that is the building coming out of the ground, that we're building over there in Allentown. Okay. Now, we do have a contract in relation to that project for coastal material testing not to exceed $24.95. That is the special inspection team, starting on page 44. I need a motion to approve this contract.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Let the record show that the contract for coastal was approved by the ARPA Committee. Okay, next we go to the Center District. Go to page 50. This is the plan for the Center District, and it is before MARB for consideration. We do have a signed contract for the first house, the one closest to the Center District's parking lot. That it would be 816 Savin Avenue. That contract is in the amount of $485,000. The demolition cost estimate for that building is $35,000. The abatement cost estimate is $15,000. Legal fees, $5,000. And then the Center District wants to pay their radio cost share of $367,177. And then they've already spent the installation of the ultraviolet for bacteria killing and the HVAC for $78.50. Once the house is down, we're thinking $109,000 to put a parking lot in, or extend the parking lot. That's how they get to $1,025,000.
Wow. Nice house?
Two-family, nice house, yeah.
What's our plan with that property? Is it to build a new firehouse at some point?
Well, I'm sure every firehouse has a plan to build a new firehouse, but in this particular case, their parking lot is literally dangerous. You cannot get around that parking lot. They are doing things in that parking lot they shouldn't be doing because it's so small. When this house comes down, they'll double the size of the parking lot, they'll pave it and make it safer. Okay. Any questions on that? So I'm gonna ask for a motion to approve this budget. Do you have a motion to approve this budget? But their allocation is $1,025,000.
Excuse me. I think the approval of the budget, I don't think would eliminate the need for approval of each expenditure as
Right.
it comes in down the road. This is just a preliminary vote of approval.
And Marv has
that
the final word.
would not obligate the committee to vote the same on any given, specific appropriation that comes before us.
So,
Yeah.
I guess the council is improving this, we're just looking at it and saying, that's not a $500,000 house. I won't in good conscience vote for yes, period.
I
Well,
can tell you they got
we
an
went through that.
appraisal for $500,000.
Yeah, we appraised for $500,000.
I guess mine is worth $600,000.
That's a two-family, you said?
It's
Whether it's 2 or 3.
2.5, I think,
Yeah.
yeah.
Where is this house?
Mentally disturbed.
Is it right
No.
over here?
This is right behind the fire department.
7th Avenue.
Seven, Avenue.
Yes.
This is right over here.
So Marv has the final word. We went back and forth with this. We started at 510. We had appraisals ranging from 440 to 500,000. But the other issue is that the people selling us the house have a very low interest rate in their mortgage, and they're leaving their house, selling to the fire department, have to go out and get a 7% or 6% mortgage. You gotta take that in consideration as well. So, and we landed on 485, which we think checked all the boxes. All right. So, do we have a motion to approve the overall budget?
I'm honestly not comfortable with $1 million parking lot.
Okay,
There you go. I'm with you.
that leaves it to us, guys.
How much is the VA spending?
Well, we're not discussing the VA here.
Yeah.
That's a total different
You
entity.
got a motion?
Motion to approve.
All right. Mike, you got a second?
I'll second it for discussion.
Any discussion?
My concern, and again, listen, this is what they want, if they.
But it's not $1 million parking lot. Almost
Well,
400,000
I guess
is not a
what I-
parking lot.
My issue
Yeah.
was that I thought that they wanted to buy land to build a new firehouse. And then if they were gonna do that, I could see them maybe keeping this house, renting it out, trying to get some revenue. And again, listen, I'm probably way out of my lane here. They were given $1 million and they were asked, how they wanted to spend it. If this is how the fire commissioners and the chief wanna spend the money, I don't agree with it, but, they were given $1 million to figure out how to spend. They gave a list, and this is the list. And I know it's gotta go through Marv. I certainly probably, if it was up to me, I wouldn't put this list together, but,
So,
It is what it is.
in order to build a new firehouse, they would need that parking lot. And they would build a new firehouse on the parking lot and then tear down the existing firehouse. That would be the plan.
I mean, that's what I
Yeah.
thought.
Well, that's a long-range plan, but I'm not here to say that.
And I'm
Yeah.
also saying that maybe and again, I'm out of my lane by even saying this, but I would have thought maybe renting out the house to generate more revenue, because they don't have the money for a firehouse at this point.
Yeah.
Make part of the property the parking lot, make it safe and use it for revenue, but.
Yeah. If I could add, I've lived now in West Haven since 1985. And that firehouse has been there longer than that.
Mhm.
And, I just, it is $1 million for a parking lot.
Well, no, it's.
For a parking lot that an extension of a parking lot that they've lived without since at least 1985. And that's just me. If
No, I understand, but
if
I wanna-
if I've got to vote on it,
Yeah.
then I'm just not gonna vote for it, period.
You don't have to. I mean, this is all a, personal choice, but it's not $1 million parking lot. It's a $600,000 parking lot, because 367
Okay.
plus 7850.
Well, still, it's a
Okay, that's fine,
$600,000
but
parking
It's
lot.
different than $1 million.
Yeah. It
the
just seems like
firehouse-
that there was money available and, okay, well, they couldn't think of anything better. I could think of
No,
a
Mark-
lot better things to do in this city for $600-something thousand than extending a parking lot for the fire department.
Yeah, so Marb came down, the subcommittee came down, we toured the parking lot. It's completely dysfunctional. Their house has grown. They've gotten more EMTs, bigger fire trucks. They're fixing trucks out in the parking lot because they have no room. It's a mess down there.
My dad was one of New Haven's bravest for 40 years, and he was the commanding officer down by the airport, and, you go there, they don't even have a parking lot. The firemen would park on the street. They had the front of the lot where they washed and took care of the trucks, and that was
Yeah.
about it, so.
Yeah.
Again, it's,
All right, so I'm not so sure we even have to vote on this, but let's see.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly understand the concern on there. I
I'm
think,
speaking as a taxpayer.
Oh, I understand.
I find it outrageous.
on that issue, and I certainly understand the concern, I think it's important to keep in mind, the limited, duties that are on the plate of the committee, which
Yep.
have been a point of confusion sort of from the beginning. I mean, the point we've often tried to make clear is, we don't decide how to allocate the 29 million plus of ARPA money. That's between the mayor and the council. They vote, they approve. Marb obviously has played a role
Yeah.
in that too, depending upon the level of expenditure. The committee's job, as I've seen it throughout our engagement, has been to ensure that once the word has gone out, this is how the money is to be spent, and it's approved. The committee's role is to try to ensure that that is implemented as efficiently and properly as possible. I think we've done a pretty
Yeah,
darn good
and-
job of that. I
And
hear
I
you loud and
understand, I
clear
understand
on-
that, and I love that you use the two words efficiently and properly, you know.
No,
those words.
look, I'm proud of the way the committee is handling it, and if people come to the committee and say, hey, what are you spending money on this? I've always say, we don't decide how to spend the money.
Yep.
It's not our
We
job.
just make
Yeah.
sure that they do it properly.
Yeah, no, if we got a contractor and there's a procurement issue and we wanna make sure the money is being spent and, you know, proper procurement procedures were followed, that's different. But the big picture things, should each of the firehouses get 1.025 million and so on, that's off our plate.
Yeah.
And then if you go down a layer, once that 1.025 million has been allocated to each of the firehouses and approved by Marb, as I recall, not without significant controversy and debate, then I think it falls to them now, you know.
I get it.
Yeah, I hear you.
I don't disagree with anything you say.
Yeah.
I hear you, I hear you, and I agree with you, but I also reserve the right to where I assign my name to.
Understood. Understood. I guess I'm just,
I think-
you know, my point would be, I don't think anybody here assigning their name would be saying, I'm in favor of allocating 1.025 to each of the firehouses. That's not our job. And also, I'm deciding how that money should be spent. That's not our job either.
No, I
But-
said,
but-
as I look at it, it's disappointing that this is how they would choose to spend that money.
Yeah.
And if you could go downtown to fire headquarters, which is on, in New Haven, and you look at the parking lot in the back of that, which is basically like a line for one row of cars and 20 feet behind the firehouse, it's no less constrictive than, we have here. And it's a firehouse of probably 3 times the size.
So you've got, forget the labels,
Yeah.
we can't let them spend more than $1,025,000. That's really what it comes down to.
And each of the 3 districts is spending
Exactly the
their
same.
money, or the
Different.
same amount, but
Yeah.
spending it on very different projects.
Great argument for consolidating the fire departments.
Don't let Mark hear that. That's why it encountered a great deal of,
Yeah.
I'm not involved with Mark very much, but there was one meeting that we tuned in on, and let's just say that there were a couple members on the board that voiced that view.
Good for them.
All right, so what are we doing with this? Are we going to, in passing this, we're not asking for the work that's being done, we're asking for the amount of 125 to be put on the tracker per the council's instructions.
Which it already has, I
Yeah,
guess, right?
yeah. So I'm not so sure we have to vote on it.
Yeah, I don't believe there's a need to vote on it. As
Okay.
individual expenditures come before the committee for approval, then
You will have to
No.
vote on when the individual bills come.
No, and I understand that.
Okay. All right, turn the page. All right, let's go to page, I'm on page 51. This is, before I get there, let me back up. West Shore, the permit is being pulled for their interior work. They're expanding their sleeping quarters in both houses. They have an $837,000 contract with Diversity. We have a contingency of about $60,000, and that's how they're spending their money. Boardwalk cameras, we have about 254,000 left, and there's another round of cameras that includes the Green, City Hall, and South Street beach area. Painter Park Fieldhouse came in over budget, came in at 1.8 million. So we are pivoting to redoing the tennis courts now, not building the structure. And what killed that project was the site work was massive, where they had to pick up the drainage, the gas lines, and the electrical, put it in the stratosphere. Now, we could have done a septic system. I talked to the low bidder. We could have got this down to 1.2 million, still too much money. So we're going to new tennis courts with pickleball.
Pickleball is important.
Yep. EMS premium pay, that is been decided by MARB, and that's underway. Haley School ramp, I had Chris Everone go out and meet the contractor, White Owl. They'll be starting soon. I spoke to the engineer today. They're communicating with White Owl on their submittals on material. HVAC Noble Community Center, that job is done. And we have our final bill here, F&F on page 51. And this is for $5,178.91. May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, next, we go to page 53. So this is the proposal, Mike, for the bleachers at Veterans Field. What he's telling me is to fix the seat boards, the brackets, the railings, and to do them one way, he has to remove a lot of the seats. Another way of doing it, he's gonna reprice and try to get this price down considerably. Okay, so he's making you aware of that, okay?
Let's get electrical main breakers.
Let's see, did I? Is mine different? Hold on. Oh, yeah, I went to bleachers, yeah, electrical. So electrical main breakers, the contract has been presented to the electrical company off the state bid list for signing. I should have it back in a day or two. And then I'll hand it over to Andy, the facilities director, and he will run with that. He's also an electrician, so he knows what he's doing. Community mental health, I have no new invoices for today. Aid to small business. We do have a letter from the mayor. I think you have it in front of you. Where's my copy? You got an extra copy there somewhere? I had 10 copies. I got one, I got it. Okay, so, we have $398,000 that's made available to local businesses. That money is to be used to fix their facades, upgrade their HVAC. And I will tell you that Olivia in the grants department has worked hard on this. They've worked with UHY as well as Carmody. And the list on page 2 represents the awards that have been given for the companies that have met all of the ARPA regulations. There is another list to make up the difference between 226 and 398. That list, we're still waiting for information from the recipients. Okay? So I'd like a motion to accept the list of recipients as detailed on the October 1st, 2024 letter from the mayor.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries, okay. So we put that as approved. All right, next we have support for arts community funding. We do have an invoice for $83,000. That starts on page 56. Now again, the backup is much larger than our packet, and that is made available to you if you want to see it, but it is not included in this packet. It has been vetted. Actually, this one's for 10,000. This is a mistake, right? Application 5 is for 10,179. 83 has already been approved.
Prior amount,
Yeah,
Yep, so
10,179. Did you guys get your check, the 83,000? You were at the Arts, right? You picked the check up? All right, do you have a motion to approve the Arts Council of Greater New Haven for 10,179?
So moved.
Do I have a second? Any discussion?
And who's going through the process just to make sure that everything's been delivered?
UHY and the attorneys,
Okay.
thousands of dollars in legal and accounting fees. Yeah.
What page was that on again?
That starts on page 56 and goes through 61. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Motion carries. All right, next we have the police storage shed. This bid came in at 800,000, well over budget. We have to go back to the police, have a conversation with them, and see what they want to do with the allocation they've been giving. And then we have paving. If you go to page 62 and 60 through 65, Tilcon is on the state contract. And somewhere in here, I think there's a list of streets. Hold on. If you go to the last page, page 65, you'll see some of the streets that are covered. These aren't numbers, these are tonnage. And we have two invoices. In invoice 1, we're asking for $699, $953.97. Do you have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second, I know that Savin Avenue is complete, I've seen it.
Yeah.
I presume you've.
I've seen them all. Yep. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Now, the next invoice, we're only paying a portion up to the 800,000 that was allocated, and that portion is $100,046.03. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, let me write that in here. Is there any other new business?
I apologize if I missed it, but did we discuss coastal material testing lab?
Yes, we approved it.
We did.
Yes.
Did we
That's-
approve?
We approved we don't have an invoice, that's just the contract.
Yeah, so we don't, hang on, that's the, yeah, we don't need a form for that one.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't catch that, yeah, we don't need the form, so you can dispose of that. When they come with the bill, we need a form.
Does anybody have any other new business? All right, I think, did the Arts, did you guys want to speak tonight, or is Eleanor gonna come?
Oh, we're not there.
Oh, you're not, my apologies, just a second.
We would like to speak,
What's the topic?
the remainder of the article and the allocation thereof.
So you'd have to go to the council for that, we don't do that, yeah.
So you don't make any proposals?
No,
That's fine.
no, yeah. Okay. Any other any new business? Yeah, that's, I don't have, let's see. So, I do have on the second to last page of the agenda, I have the youth programs, that's in the works in the mayor's department. Facilities upgrade, that's the mayor and Andy Pacelli. And the library site development is $1 million spend, and my understanding is the contract is either signed or about to be signed for procurement on that. And I think that's everything I have. New business, we already talked about it, which is the awards to the community. Anybody else?
I was just gonna ask the library, are they still looking at the Blake building?
Correct, that's my understanding. Yep. I have a motion to adjourn then.
Motion to adjourn?
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Have a wonderful night. Thank you, everybody.